This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Chef Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy to end this month of November. November the 30th is a broadcaster that is famous for being part of Match of the Day for the BBC since 1999. He was the top goal scorer in England for three squads: Leicester, Everton, and Tottenham. Also went to Spain to play for Barcelona and was England's second top goal scorer once he retired. He's been playing many times. He even went to Japan for a little bit. One of the best English players around internationally as well. He has the most World Cup goals by an English player. He never won a top flight league title or a yellow or red card. So he scored over 300 goals in a 16-year career, and he actually saved Leicester from bankruptcy. He's been a legend of Match of the Day for many years and does a lot of stuff. His name is Gary Lineker, who's now 63 years old. Gary has a brother, Wayne, who is 2 years younger than him. So, anyway, Lineker was talented in both soccer and cricket and all that. And he looked pretty good and all that. So, anyway, a lot of people said he concentrates too much on football while at school. So he went to Leicester, his hometown team, to join the youth academy. And then he turned pro in 1979 on New Year's Day, making his debut with a win over Oldham. Leicester for 1 year did go up to first division, but then dropped back to the second one. However, he looked pretty good in 1982, scoring 19 goals in all competitions. Leicester were in the semis of the FA Cup and got to first division by 1983. He put up 22 goals for Leicester and was second highest in the top division. In 1985, it looked pretty good with 24 goals, and Leicester was happy to have him. Unfortunately, bigger clubs took a shining to him, and Everton signed Lineker for 800,000 British pounds. In 1986, in 57 games as a professional player in all competitions, he scored 40 goals. The funny thing was that when Lineker's first game for Everton was supposed to be in Leicester, and then he actually walked towards the Leicester dressing room by mistake. But he put up 30 goals to lead the top division, and Everton takes second place in the league. He helped Everton get to the FA Cup final, but they lost to Liverpool. Liverpool also won the league competition, so it was huge and all that. The question was, would Liverpool have had the treble? But unfortunately, because of the whole English clubs banned from Europe competitions for 5 years, they couldn't. So he tried his best thing and all that. So he had that one great year with Everton, and then somehow, after winning the top goal scorer of the '86 World Cup, winning that Golden Boot, Barcelona signed him for 2.8 million euros. Barcelona would also bring in Mark Hughes from the Premier League. So anyway, Barcelona gave Lineker his first chance of European football. Everton would have been in the '86 European Cup, but because of the whole Heysel disaster thing, English clubs were banned. He would score 21 goals in 41 games across all competitions, helping Barcelona win the Copa del Rey, or the Spanish Knockout Cup, in 1988, and the Cup Winners' Cup of Europe in 1989. So anyway, put up 103 appearances in La Liga with 42 goals. He was the highest scoring British player in Spain until Gareth Bale surpassed that. Rumors were circling that Manchester United was going to sign Lineker. But Lineker changed his mind and went to Liverpool for 1.1 million British pounds. And in 3 years there, he scored 67 goals and won the FA Cup in 1991 when Tottenham beat Nottingham Forest 2-1. Of course, Spurs famously lost Paul Gascoigne to a massive injury during that FA Cup final. But yeah, he got it. He got his trophy. He was actually named top goal scorer in the first division in 1990 when he had 24 goals. Lineker looked pretty decent. He was second highest goal scorer in 92 when he had 28 goals. And then in 91, he actually was offered a 2-year contract from a Japan League team called Nagoya Grampus 8. So after playing for Tottenham in May 92, he went to Japan. There were rumors that Blackburn wanted Lineker and all that. Unfortunately, his injury-impacted seasons made him score only 9 goals and he decided to retire in September 94. There were rumors that he was going to go play for a middle league club like Middlesbrough or Southampton. But no, he decided to stay retired. So yeah, his Nagoya Grampus 8 stuff was always talked about on They Think It's All Over, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, internationally he was amazing. He got his first cap for England in 1984. He played all 5 games of the 1986 World Cup with England, 3 group games, the round of 16 and then the quarterfinal lost to Argentina. His top goal scorer was 6 goals, making him the first English player to do so. He put up the second quickest hat-trick ever at a FIFA World Cup match when he did it against Polska, putting up a hat-trick against them, scoring 2 goals against Paraguay. And yes, he did score for England in the famous Hand of God goal game. Yeah, he was the English player, and he almost tied it, but he missed a cross by just inches. Lineker was part of England at Euro 88 and failed to score as England lost all 3 group games. Rumors were circulating that he had hepatitis. In 1990, he actually was unwell during the tournament and then took a poo in his shorts against Ireland. Lineker did score 4 goals to help England out. Lineker helped England out in the quarterfinals against Cameroon when they were close to being shockingly defeated by the African side. But he got a penalty shot, he scored, and then in extra time took another penalty and got it. And then put up 2 key moments and all that. Oh yeah. So with England down 1-0 in the semi-final, Lineker got a good pass from Paul Parker and scored the equalizer. Unfortunately though, Germany won the game by penalty shootouts and all that. He would later say, "Football is a simple game. 22 men chase a ball for 90 minutes and at the end the Germans win." But anyway, Lineker would also be famous in that semi-final for after Gazza got a yellow card, which meant he was not allowed to play in the final should England get there. Gazza famously cried, and then Lineker in the shot, probably not realizing he was in the shot, made a gesture towards Bobby Robson, who was the manager of England, saying, "You gotta keep an eyeball on him." So anyway, he tried his best to tie Sir Bobby Charlton's record of 49 England goals. He only got 48 and was subbed off at Euro 92 against Sweden. He actually had a famous penalty shot that he could have scored against Brazil to tie that mark, but he failed. He was not happy with Graham Taylor substituting Lineker for Alan Smith. So he was not too pleased with that. And what's more about Gary Lineker is that he actually never got a yellow or red card, which was kind of weird. So anyway, after retirement from soccer, he developed a career in the media as a football pundit. So anyway, he replaced Des Lynam as the BBC's anchorman for soccer coverage, including Match of the Day, becoming the highest paid presenter. He would also be BBC's main guy for the Masters and the British Open, talking about that stuff. So anyway, Lineker, during that time, Match of the Day, actually also had a famous role on the BBC show They Think It's All Over. I talked about it when I talked about David Gower for Birthday Boy, but to repeat. This show was about sports stuff, and that it's like a show. Nick Hancock was the host, and there would be two team captains. Gary Lineker would captain one side, and David Gower would captain the other side until Gower left and all that. And Lineker was there till Lineker and Gower both left, I think, at the same time. But anyway, Lineker's teammates would be like a celebrity guest, like a celebrity sports personality, and also a partner, Rory McGrath. So anyway, Lineker was funny and all that, but he would be teased for his big ears, including the time that people thought that the FA Cup was Gary Lineker in silhouette, and so they shone Gary Lineker in silhouette, and his ears looked like part of the handles for the FA Cup. Anyhow, he was quite good, but Lineker would be known for cheating and trying to get an advantage of winning by any means necessary. Lineker would be teased a lot by Jonathan Ross when Rossi was on the show. So anyway, Lineker did a lot of stuff. He actually began working for NBC Sports Network as part of their Premier League coverage. All that for a couple of years. So anyway, famously in 2016, during Match of the Day, he presented the first date wearing only boxer shorts, because he had promised in a tweet in December 2015 that somehow, if Leicester shocked the world and won the Premier League, he would present in his undies. And somehow Leicester did it. His home team that he's kind of an honorary chairman for. So basically he gets about £1.75 million a year. He was also known for his Walker's Crisp ads, or what is kind of compared to as Lay's potato chips in North America. He was happy and all of that. At one time, Walker's named their salt and vinegar crisp Salt and Lineker. His Walker's commercials were actually ranked 9th in the 100 greatest TV ads in 2000. So anyway, Lineker did some stuff and all that. So he made some TV appearances and all that. It would be that, like, all that. Lineker, his personal life was weird. He married Michelle in 1986, but Michelle filed for divorce in 2006 because her husband had unreasonable behavior and all that. So in that marriage they had 4 sons and all that. Anyway, George, Lineker's oldest son, actually survived a rare form of leukemia and all that. That's why Lineker is actively involved in treating for leukemia. He was also known as Leicester's favorite son, especially in 2002 when he backed a £5 million bid to save Leicester City from administration and all that. He made it as charity instead of an ego trip. So anyway, he was lucky. He's now honorary vice president of LC. Lineker remarried his current wife Danielle in 2009, but they decided to divorce after 6 years because Gary didn't want children. So anyway, Gary Lineker was actually named in the Paradise Papers to try to avoid taxes by having related properties in Barbados. All that. However, it looked pretty decently and all that. His political views have been decent, but unfortunately, it's led to one of the biggest controversies in 2023 when he criticized the British government's asylum policy via Twitter. He said it was just terrible and all that, and actually compared it to 1930s Germany. Well, that was kind of a mistake and all that. Lineker actually said he would stand by his comments and didn't fear suspension from BBC. But of course, it took 3 days and all that. Now, people actually on BBC Sport actually stood in solidarity with Lineker's suspension, meaning that the broadcaster would have to reduce its sports schedules for a couple days. And Match of the Day went without any host or studio presentation, only match footage. All that. BBC said they would have an independent review of their social media guidelines and freelancers and all that. But Lineker still says he's continued to comment on political issues. We'll see what happens. But anyway, with Leicester, Everton, Barcelona, Tottenham, and Nagoya, he put up 283 goals in 573 games. Internationally, 48 goals in 80 games, almost becoming the top goal scorer in England history, or even tying Sir Bobby Charlton's mark. But he missed. Wayne Rooney is now the all-time leader, if you must know. So, anyway. He won the second division with Leicester in 1980, the only major honor for LC as a team. 1985 Charity Shield with Everton, Cup Winners' Cup with Barcelona, and Copa del Rey with Barcelona. Tottenham winning the FA Cup in 1991, and individually being the top goal scorer in 85, 86, and 90. And winning the Golden Boot in 1986. So Gary Lineker is a treasure, even though sometimes he's controversial. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.